Tufani. I, Sakshi Arora, Research Associate, International School of Business Management, Suresh Gandhia University, Jaipur. In the last lecture, we discussed about how can a person use the mode for discharge of the contract. What are the we already read about various ways of discharge of the contract. So let's continue with others mode of the discharge of the contract. Discharge by lapse of time. So note the point lapse of time. According to the Limitation Act 1963, a contract should be performed within a specific period, which is called a period of limitation. That means whenever the two parties make a contract, so there should be that should be performed within a specific period. That means which is called a period of the limitation. Under that time of the period, they have to complete their contract. The Limitation Act 1963 prescribed a specified period for performance of a contract. If the promisor fails to perform and promisee fails to take action within this specific period, then the latter cannot seek remedy through the law. It discharges the contract due to the lapse of the time. So let's take the example. Like suppose there are two parties, party A and the party B. So they both make a contract for a specific period, that means for a 1 month. Okay, so under that, if the promisor fails to perform that contract and the promisee fails to take action within that specific period, that means within the 1 month, then after the 1 month they cannot claim for the remedy, they cannot claim for that, they cannot take the action to that law. It discharges the contract due to the lapse of the time, because the contract is bind. Contract should be performed within a specific period. That means under the within the 1 month they have to perform. This is called a period of the limitation. After that, both of the parties don't have a right. That means the promisee cannot seek remedy through the law basically. So it discharges the contract due to the lapse of the time. Next example. Peter takes a loan from John and agrees to pay installment every month for the next 5 years. So in this example, a person, his name is Peter, that who took a loan from his friend John and agrees to pay that amount in installment every month for the next 5 years. However, he does not pay even a single installment. So, according to the contract, he agrees to pay the installment every month for the next 5 years. But in this case, he doesn't pay even a single installment. So, John calls him a few times, but then gets busy and takes no action during that time. After the 3 years later, he approaches the court to help him recover his money. However, the court rejects his suit since he has crossed the time limit of the 3 years to recover his debt. So that means the time for they can claim only for the specific period of the time, limitation of the time. So that means only the parties has a time to cover or suit for that. Only the specific that is a limitation of the period of the time. After that, he cannot claim for the debates for the remedy according to the law. Discharge by operation of law. So various are the mode under the various we can say the ways through that the person can take create a contract at the end that will discharge by operation of law. That means party can discharge by operation of law in the case of death, by murder, by insolvency, by unauthorized material alteration. So that means where a party to a contract makes any material alteration in the contract without the consent of other party, that means if I there are two parties, party A and the party B. Party A order goods from party B, and according to party A, that goods should be delivered on 15 November. And the party B decided that goods will be delivered by 30th on 30th November. So in this case, in this example, he makes the date alteration in the contract without the consent of other party, that means the party A. So this contract will take the discharge by operation of law, that means by unauthorized material alteration. Date. In the operation of law, date. In case of contract which involve personal skill or ability, the contract is discharged or terminated on the death of the promisor. However, in other contracts, the right and the liability of deceased person shall pass on to the legal representative of the deceased person. So, whenever the contract is based on the particular on the behalf of personal skills or ability, and due to that the person cannot, it is impossible to perform the you can say the perform the responsibility, the liabilities, and cannot complete the contract due to the death. So in this case, that party, that means what are the nominees, the right and liabilities of the deceased person shall pass, can pass to the legal representative of that particular person, of that deceased person. Merger. It is an operation of law that extinguishes a right due to its coincidence with other greater right in the same person. On merger, the inferior rights are not required to be enforced. So, according to this law, if any party has a right, any you can say the coincidence with the, they have the greater right in the same person, the conflict cannot be the merged, because there is inferior rights are not required for enforcing fulfilling that contract. That means the definitely the contract will take the place, that will be more of discharge of the contract. Insolvency. The insolvent is neither allowed to deal with his property nor to pay any of his creditors after a person adjudicate an insolvent. All of his rights and liabilities are transferred to the official receiver or the assignee, as the case may be. When he is adjudged as insolvent, he is discharged from all the liabilities incurred prior to his adjunction. So whenever insolvent is like the person has become an insolvent and he cannot pay any of his creditors after becoming insolvent. So in this case, the party has discharged from all the liabilities due to prior to his adjunction adjudication. So that's why when a person become insolvent, in this case also the contract take the place, that will more discharge of the contract by the insolvency. Material alteration. What is a material alteration? That means any alteration or change in the contract that affect the rights and liabilities of the parties to the contract significantly. Material alteration puts an end to the contract. That means if any alteration, any changes without the consent of the other party and making by the promisor, that means that contract also always affect and rights and the liabilities of the party to the contract significantly. That means that should also impact on that. So material alteration also take the place as a discharge of the contract. If one party, without the consent of the other party, makes such an alteration in the contract, the other party can avoid the contract. So he or she has a right if they are during the according to the contract, all the if there is any alteration made by the party, so uh, he can also claim for that. He can avoid the contract. He can discharge the contract. In such cases, the effect of alteration would be the same, that of the cancellation of the document. However, an alteration which is not material or which is made to carry out common intention of the party does not affect the validity of the contract. But that is depend on the alteration which is not a material. That is depend on the mutual consent of the party. If they want to avoid the contract, they want to cancel the contract, or they want to continue that contract. That is depend on their alteration. Discharge by breach of contract. Breach of contract means breaking of obligations. That means whenever the parties are creating a contract, so there are some obligation between the parties, but that obligations are broken by another party, that means the promisor or maybe the promisee. So that contract also known as the breach of the contract. It occurs when a party to the contract does not fulfill his contractual obligation or by his own act makes it impossible that he should perform his obligation. That means whenever a party under a contract fails to perform his contractual obligation or due to his own act, that means that cannot possible to perform that contract, so that should be perform his obligation. Breach of contract means the failure of a party to perform his obligation. That means whenever contract is created, that time party fails to pay, that party fails to perform his obligation under the contract, the party who fails to perform his obligation is said to have committed as a breach of contract. That means the promisor, if who fails to perform his obligation is said to have committed this, that type of contract is known as breach of the contract. Breach of contract may be by the two types: actual breach of contract, anticipatory or constructive breach of contract. So let's see what is the difference between actual breach of contract and anticipatory or constructive breach of contract. Actual breach of contract has also the two types: at the time when the performance is due and during the performance of the contract. Anticipatory breach of the contract also can be breached by the two types: express repudiation or the implied repudiation. So let's see in the detail about what is the actual breach of contract. First, we can see here at the time when the performance is due. That means actual breach of contract occurs at the time when the performance is due, when one party fails or refuses to perform his obligation under the contract result in breach of the contract. That means one party, and at the time of the contract the performance is due and the one party fails or refuse to perform his obligation under the contract is known as the breach of the contract. Let's understand the example. A agrees to deliver 5 bags of sugar to B on 1st July. but fails to do so on that date, he is said to have committed a breach of the contract. So whenever party party agrees or making a contract, that time both the party has some obligation. That means the performance is due. That means person A, according to this example, person A has to deliver the 5 bags of sugar B on 1st July. But on the 1st July, he fails to do on that date. So that means he is said to have committed a breach of the contract. So we can say the actual breach of contract, the one party fails to perform his obligation on the performance on the due date. That means that is known as the actual breach of the contract. Second, we have during the performance of contract. Express repudiation by word or the act. That means when one party fails or refuses to perform the obligation under the contract during the performance of the contract, this type of breach of contract occurs in case of installment contract. That means we can say that whenever any by the word or by any act is performing by the one party fails or he reject to perform the obligation under the contract during the performance of the contract. So we can say the contract happen or occurs in the case of installment contract. So we have the example: a company C contracted with a railway company to supply 3,000 tons of railway chair at a certain price to be delivered in installment. That means, according to this example, there is a contract between the C and the railway company to supply 3,000 tons of railway chair at a specific price that should be delivered in installment. So according to that, he has to deliver the 3,000 tons after 178 tons had been supplied. The railway company asked C to deliver no more. That means there is no require for more deliver that particular tons of railway chair. So he rejected after delivering the 1787 tons supplied. So C could bring an action for breach of the contract because he can claim for that. Implied reputation. How can a contract take a place by a implied reputation? Impossibility created by the act of a party to the contract. Let's see. If a party during the performance makes by his own act, the complete performance of the contract becomes impossible. That means a party during the performance, due to his act, he is not able to complete the performance. That means he is not able to perform the contract. He is not able to. The contract becomes impossible because it is created by his own act. The effect is as if he has breached the contract, other party is discharged from the further performance of the contract. So the other party is not liable for the future any is not bound with any liabilities. He is discharged from the contract. Anticipatory breach of the contract. What is anticipatory breach of the contract? We has also the two types. First, express repudiation. Anticipatory breach of contract takes place when one party expresses his inability to perform or renounces his liabilities under the contract expressly. Through the expressly, one party is unable to perform and renounce that his liability under the contract, that I am not able to continue this contract, I am not able to perform that contract before the performance is due. So this known as express anticipatory breach of the contract, because this is known as the express repudiation. Let's take the example. Here are two parties, party E and the party B. A agreed to supply certain goods to B on a first January, but before this date, A expressly informed to B that I am not able to supply that goods to him, to you. This is anticipatory breach of the contract because party is uh, wants to breach the contract by the express refusal to perform it. Implied repudiation. What is an implied repudiation? A promisor may, before the time for the performance arrive, by doing some act, make the performance of his impossible. This is known as implied anticipatory breach of the contract. Whenever a promisor, that is the party, the promisor who give the offer to another party, and before the timing, that means the performance is not completed, before the time for performance arrive, by doing some on his act, make the performance is impossible, promise impossible, he is not able to perform his promise. So this type of the contract is known as anticipatory breach of the contract. Example: Lovelock versus Franklin. A promised to assign to B within 7 years from the date of his promise all his interests in a lease for the sum of $140. Before the end of the 7 years, he assigned his interest in another person. Hence, this was anticipatory breach of the contract by the implied repudiation. So, the one party is not able to perform his promise, his impulse, because then the contract cannot be continued. So, it take the part as a anticipatory breach of the contract by the implied repudiation. What are the rights of the promisee in case of anticipatory breach? So, what are the rights of promisee if promisor breach of the contract, anticipatory breach of the contract? First, he can treat the contract as discharged so that he is absolved from the performance of his part of the promise. That means he can treat the contract, he can consider as a discharge of the contract, and he can also uh, is not liable to perform his part of the promises in the future. He can immediately take a legal action for breach of the contract. That means he can take the action against the another party who breached the contract in this for the particular obligation. File He can file a suit for the damages, which is by the aggrieved party for the specific performance or a injunction. Anticipatory breach does not necessarily discharge the contract. It, however, discharges the promisee, that means the aggrieved, if he so chooses, the entitle him to sue for the breach at once. That is depend on the promisee, that is the aggrieved party. Measure in anticipatory breach of contract. If the contract is ended at once, that means if the contract is become considered as a ended discharge of the contract, if the promisee elect to end the contract at once, he can sue for the promisor for the damages. That is depend on the condition of the promisee, that is the choice of the promisee. If he is consider the contract and he can sue for the promisor for the damages. The amount of damages will be measured by the difference between the price prevailing on the date of breach and the contract price. That means whenever what are the damages, uh, how much he can claim for the damages. The price of the damages is decided on the date whenever the contract is created, the price of that, and price prevailing on the date of the breach. That is a difference between them. According to the difference of the contract price and prevailing on the date of the breach price. After that, he can claim for the particular price. If the contract is kept alive till the date of the performance of the contract, that means if any contract is kept alive till the date, like suppose there is a contract till the that is performed with till the 30th July. So according to that, they can also measure in the anticipatory breach of the contract because the contract is still alive. We can conclude that the breach of the contract, there are various. So if the one party, that means the promisor, who fails to perform his promise or his obligation under the contract, so there are some remedies should be available for the another party, that means the agree party. So let's in a brief way describe what is a breach of the contract. Protection of contractual expectation is the primary purpose of the law of the contract. That means the one party who breach of the contract. So how can a law provide a protection against regarding what are the damages is laws is bear by the aggrieved party. So these expectations are met where parties perform their respective promises. If any one party fails to perform his obligation and breach the contract, the law provides certain remedies to the promise. So if any party, that means the promiser, perform has to promise to perform something, some obligation under that contract, and the one at that time during the performance, before completing the performance, he fails to uh, uh, he fails to fulfill his promise. So what are the remedies provided by the law? How can the law protect of provide the protection of their contractual expectation? That is the primary purpose of the law of the contract. Remedy. What is the meaning of the remedy? A legal remedy is a court order, basically, that seeks to uphold a person's rights or redress a breach of the law. That means, suppose a party A, do how can a person bear a loss because there is no default of that party due to default of another party? How can a is possible to bear a loss for another party? So courts provide some remedy, and because a person has a right, he can sue for the files for the damages, for he can also claim for the particular loss which is bear by the aggrieved party. When one party breaches a contract, the other party may ask a court to provide a remedy for the breach. The court may order the breaching party to pay money to the non breaching party. Here you can see the two terms, breaching party or non breaching party. Breaching party means the person who breached the contract, who fails to uh, promise who fails to fulfill his promise, his obligation during the contract, and non-breaching, that means the another party who has a right to claim for that remedy. That means the court can give the order what type of the damages and the losses are bear by the another party has to face by the non-breaching party. So in that case, the court may order the breaching party to pay money to the non-breaching party. So there are some remedies available, like suit for the rescission, suit for the damages, suit for the quantum merit, suit for specific performance, and suit for an injunction. So these are the remedies if, according to the non-breaching party, has faces due to this in this condition, the breaching party uh, breach the contract under this condition. So what are the remedies available for the non-breaching party? So these type of the remedies available that we will discuss in the in the next lecture. Thank you.